What's up? What's up? What's up? Fifth quarter. We still in week 17. We ain't quite at week 18 just yet. But I figured might as well knock it out now because tomorrow, everybody gonna be caught up doing their own thing. And honestly, even if I do get a chance tomorrow, I'm not getting on here to do no fifth quarter tomorrow. So might as well knock it out now. But we only waiting on one game. And it's already bazap. Big game, Eagles and Commanders. Commanders fighting for the playoffs. Eagles fighting for the division. This game mean more to the Commanders than the Eagles because if the Eagles lose, it just knocks him one step back from winning the division. If the Commanders lose, it knocks him a step back from being out of the playoffs. So very big game. Listen, when you at towards the end of the season and you got big games left, you just concentrate one game at a time. Commanders just had a big game against the Giants. The Giants beat the Commanders the first time. Commanders got revenge the second time around. Commanders got another tough game against the Eagles. But all you can do is just say one game at a time. Focus what's ahead of you. Don't worry about who you got next. Commanders took care of his business with the Giants. Now he's trying to take his business with the Eagles. And I got to be honest, I like the Commanders' chances. But before we even get into that, I mean, I think I already did the predictions for this week. And who did I pick for this game? I think I took the Eagles. So I ain't got to get into that again. I'm just elaborating on the big game that's left. But we're going to get into this recap. And then we're going to go on to week 18, and see what's going on for the final week. You dig? Lions played the Vikings. I gotta say, I like call-outs for that. I like the fact that he played this week because he's out of the playoff race, but he still played. You know what I mean? And you say, well, I always say all the time, even if you're out of the race, why not play? If it's something that you felt like, or if it's something you feel like you need to get better at, why not play and try to work at it and just get prepared for next season? You get ready for next season this season. You don't got to wait till next season, especially, I'm talking about for those that's out of the race. You keep playing and you start warming up for next season. You start working on some new plays. You come across some new plays, guess what? You add that to the playbook. But I like the fact that the Lions played, and the Vikings, no matter how much he lose, he still plays. You got to respect that, so hats off to the Vikings. He actually only lost by 2 scores, so he definitely did what he's supposed to do. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest about the Vikings. The one thing I'm noticing with the Vikings is that, yeah, he's losing to everybody, but he's scoring points. So what that tells me is that his defense is horrible, but he can score. I mean, I've seen him lose games 80 to 40. I mean, look, he gave up 80, but he scored 40. You understand? Like you gotta look at the silver lining in some things, and that's just what it is, you know. But I'm hats off to the Vikings, man. Like I'm not here to clown him or nothing like that. Like I like the fact that he still plays, he still competes, and like I say, he scores, man. He just can't stop nobody. That's his issue. He can't stop nobody, but he scores. So salute to the Vikings, man. Jets and Broncos. Jets won another tough game, another big game, and I like the mindset what I'm seeing with the Jets right now. And that's if he's gonna go out, he's gonna go out on his own sword. I respect that. You know, Jets won some big games. He beat the Chargers. You know, I'm pretty sure many didn't have him beat the Chargers. You know, he even though Denver record is nowhere near playoff worthy. I already said, you know, Denver is a much better player than what his record is. You can't always just go by the record because you never know what's going on in somebody's life where all of a sudden they gotta they gotta take some forced losses due to their schedule. But Denver is better than what his record is. You know, I'm just gonna tell you that now. And again, like I said it before, if he can come back next season and his schedule is free to play, he's gonna be a problem. But big win for the Jets, man. He needed this one. There's no room for error. This is it. All these games that the Jets played have been playoff games. So when the playoffs actually start, if the Jets is in, it's just another game for him. Playoffs already started for him, you know. But he's getting it done one game at a time, lining them up. He knocking them down. So shout out to Bryce Hall and them Jets, you know, because he definitely running that rock with Bryce Hall and the gang green over there. Then we had Bears and Bills. Buffalo lost another tough game. Like I said, second half of the season haven't been the same for the Bills. You know, it's been, let me go look at something. Let me go look at something real quick. Because I think it just got even more interesting over there in the AFC East. Yeah, the Bills lost, right? So he has 6 losses. Now, I don't know the history between Bills and Jets, Bills and Dolphins, and even Jets and Dolphins. The way I see it right now, they got the Jets with the tiebreaker over the Dolphins. That's what I'm looking at. I don't know the history between Jets and Bills. I don't know who got the tiebreaker. Matter of fact, don't the Jets and Bills play week 18? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Jets and Bills play next week. So I don't know who won the first matchup. But here's what I do know. If the Jets right now have the tiebreaker over the Dolphins, which is what I'm looking at, and the Jets beat Buffalo week 18, in my opinion, I think the Jets win the division. Dolphins got head-to-head over who? Over the Jets? So if he got head-to-head over the Jets, then why he not ahead of the Jets? That's Madden being Madden. Oh, he got the head-to-head over you. What about the Jets? Well, I'm guessing you beat the Jets the first. All right, I got what you're saying. Dolphins got the head-to-head, but the Jets got the head-to-head over the Dolphins, though. Correct? Isn't that why the Jets over the Dolphins right now? That's what it seemed like. It seemed like Dolphins got the head-to-head over the Bills, but the Jets got the head-to-head over the Dolphins. And if the Jets beat the Bills, yeah, exactly. So, all right, so there you have it. Dolphins got the tiebreaker over the Bills. Jets have the tiebreaker over the Dolphins. And right now, the Bills beat the Jets the first time around, and they play week 18. will once again be a playoff game for not only the Jets once again, but it's also a playoff game for the Bills. I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised to see the Bills in this scenario because first half of the season, he was balling, and I always tell you that's the beautiful thing about football, right? 1 month you can have a 3-game lead, and the next month you are tied or you are now down 1 game. Football is a weird sport when it comes to these division records and everything. Gotta love it. But so Bills, I mean, despite the Bills having a tough second half of the season, he still hold his own destiny. He win, he in. But the Jets also holds the same key. Just his key is in green. If the Jets win, he's in. And Buffalo's out. I'm not going to lie. Week 18 matchup between these two, I'm here for it. I'm hoping they get to play. I'm hoping they play tomorrow. Because forget whatever game they showing on the league. I'm going to watch. I'm going to check out the Jets and Bills. I'm going to check out my guys over here in the league that I talk about over here in the fifth quarter. I want to see my guys put in that work, because it's definitely playoff time. All right, so now we go to week 17. I just wanted to clear some things up. So this was a big loss for Buffalo. If he won this game, week 18 wouldn't even matter. So big win for the Bears, big loss for the Bills, but the Bills got to have a short-term memory. He got to go into week 18 forgetting about this game and everything that happened up to this point and just win. That's it. Simple. Just win, and none of this matters. Everybody go to the playoffs 0-0. So Buffalo got to forget about this and get ready for week 18. Packers beat the Saints 35-13. But I got to go back to week 16. Falcons and Packers game was huge. The Falcons are collapsing at the wrong time. And the Falcons is definitely something that you hear me talk about a lot. I always talk about it's not how you start, it's how you finish. What difference does it make if you start off 6-1 and then you go to second half of the season 1-6? I'm not saying that's what the Falcons did verbatim, but I'm saying he's somewhere near in that ballpark. Remember, when I did the fifth quarter 2 days ago, I said the Falcons had a tough schedule coming up to finish out the season. This game right here against Green Bay was big time. Why? Because Green Bay now have the tiebreaker over the Falcons. That's number one. Number two, the Falcons add another loss in his column. Green Bay couldn't afford no loss. He didn't get the loss. And number three, Atlanta lost again this week. So Atlanta has picked the wrong time to collapse. So once again, let's go peek at the records once more and see what's happening over there in the NFC. And as you can see, the Falcons lost 2 in a row. He was at 4 losses. Green Bay was on the outside looking in. Green Bay has now jumped the Packers, right? So right now, your 3 teams that's already, well, your 4 teams, your 5 teams already have a spot. There's only 1 spot left in this NFC. And I mean literally 1 spot. All the other teams with a Y and X, that means they have clinched. So, with that being said, as in right now, the Commanders hold the last spot. Commanders have a huge game. I mean, huge game against the Eagles. Eagles, if I know Eagles like I think I know Eagles, he wants that division. He's coming for it. He's gonna try his hardest to get this game over with as fast as possible against the Commanders. Then you have the Packers right behind the Commanders, and that tie, if the Commanders lose, that tie is deadly. That tie will knock him out. Packers have the tiebreaker over the Falcons. Giants are behind all of them teams. We're going to get into see who play who week 18. But man, oh man, oh man, week 18 playoffs is here now. Forget playoff wild card. This is the wild card round. We got two wild card rounds going on. And I just wanted to peek at it. But the Falcons definitely, in my opinion, he blew it. You know, he lost 2 in a row. All he had to do was win one, honestly. If he'd have won one of the games, he was good money. But the fact that he lost 2 in a row and still has to play week 18, I think the Falcons is done. He choked at the worst time. You know, if there was any time in the season to drop 2 games in a row, it wasn't now. He could have did it at any other point except now. He picked the wrong time, and I think the Falcons blew his chances. Let's get back to the let's get back to the recap now. Packers once again beat the Saints 35-13. See, the Saints, I can't say the same about the Saints like I did the Vikings. You remember I just said a few minutes ago, the Vikings lose to everybody. But the one thing I say about the Vikings is that he just can't play no defense at all, but he scores. If you go back and look at the Vikings, all the game he lose, you probably going to see him giving up 60 points, 70 points, 80 points, right? 50 points. He's probably averaging that, giving that up. But I got to tell you, he's scoring. But the Saints, I can't say the same about the Saints. The Saints is losing just as much. Well, not just as much, but he's losing a lot also. And he's not really scoring like that. So if I'm the Saints, I tell you, you can't be afraid to make a change. You got to scrap everything that you thought you knew or you thought you was going to be able to pull and start over. Don't be afraid to start over. But you can't keep going every season, you know, finishing way under 500. That's not going to cut it, bro. You're going to have to make some moves. And I ain't talking about players. I'm talking about schemes. Like I said, Eagles and Commanders, I already did this game. I took the Eagles to win this, but I kept it close. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is a big time game right here. Commanders right now hold the final spot in the wild card. I mean, yeah, for the wild card. Bucks beat the Browns 84-10. I mean, Browns, another one of them teams. You know, some of you guys is more infamous for making trades than actually playing good ball. I mean, sometimes just forget the trading. Just lock in on playing better. When I say playing better, meaning like, yo, man, they got 1,000 plays on here. You know what I'm saying? And if whatever you doing ain't working, yo, it's time to switch it up. But you can't be stubborn and keep coming with the same thing over and over. 84-10 is just ridiculous. You know, like, I don't know how to put that no other way. And I don't want to keep blaming, and not to say that the Browns is blaming his team, but, I mean, when you go out and make these trades, you know, that's on you. You know? So I always say sometimes the best trade is no trade. You know, but, man, 84-10, like, that can't happen. You know, you got to take that personal. And you got to take that out on somebody when you lose like that. But I get it. Murph came into this game with a chip on the shoulder because he, like I said, he just got destroyed by the Eagles, which was a shocker to me. So he definitely had a chip on his shoulder. And he was going to take it out on whoever was in front of him. It just so happened to be the Browns. Bengals beat the Patriots 35-14. Like I said, this Killer Cav user, that's kind of a good name. Well, I ain't gonna say kind of. That's a good name for him. Because Killer Kev, I'm telling you, come next season, he's going to be a problem over there in that AFC North. Trust me when I tell you, he's going to be a major problem. So remember that. Remember what I told you about. This ain't the Bengals that we had in the league that, what's her name? K-Lou. Nah, this ain't K-Lou Bengals. Killer Kev is a whole different animal. And you don't need me to tell you that. Come next season, you'll see that for yourself. Cowboys beat the Titans. Cowboys still up to his winning ways, but I checked out this game periodically, and the Titans was dancing, man. Listen, I said it already. I said the Titans is tough. He's a tough user. He plays solid. He plays good defense. And he got a nice little scheme with him. And if you notice, I said scheme. And that's big. And that's something that a lot of guys don't have. The guys that's always losing, they don't have no scheme. What are you? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you looking, when you making trades, what is it that you looking to build on your team? And for what reason? You understand? What's your scheme? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you're trying to, remember, football is chess, not checkers. So what is it that you're trying to get the defense to say, look over here while I'm going this way? What is it that you're trying to pull off? You understand? Or are you just saying, yo, you just line it up and just saying, yo, we just going to out-physical you. Mano a mano. If that's your style, then, hey, that's your style. You know what I'm saying? If you nice on the user one-on-one, I'm going to house you. I'm going to go get that. Cool. That's your scheme. If you say, yo, I'm going to run this rock, I'm going to run this rock. Stop it. That's your scheme. You understand? Like, what's your scheme? But I like the Titans, though. But the Titans going to be tough over there. So we got two new users in the AFC that come next season, they're going to have something to say. You got the Titans and you got the Bengals. But again, I only can tell you what I think. Come next season, it can be a whole different ball game. But from what I see, from what I predict, what I think Titans and Bengals going to have something to say over there, and not just the AFC, and the league period, because they don't just play against AFC people, they play against NFC guys too. But shout out to them guys, but shout out to the Cowboys too, because they still rolling. They got something to play for. They trying to get that division, and they giving it they all. Ravens, might as well say, scored the 100. They won 98-21 over the Colts. I didn't watch any of this game, so I don't know what happened. Only thing I could think of is, when I see scores like this, the only thing I think of is the other team had to have almost near double-digit turnovers, because we're only playing 6-minute quarters. So there's not even enough time in the quarters to score as many points, unless the team that you're playing against is constantly turning the ball over. That's all I got. That's all I could think of. But this game was over from the start. Colts now find himself in a must-win situation come week 18, but points only come down to if you guys split head to head, then it goes to NFC. And if you guys going to have the same NFC record, then it goes down to points. And that's what it is. Y'all going to have the same NFC record as well? Okay, copy. So you just need the Eagles to lose. Point blank. So you definitely rooting for the Commanders this week. Raiders and Seahawks. Raiders, nice win over Seattle. They won 59-42. Looked like they might have been dancing for a while, but the Raiders just hit another level and pulled away with this one. Great win for this Raider team. They looking to win that division for the second year in a row, even though the Chargers was pretty much, I want to say in the division. Well, he wasn't in division lead for most of the season. It was pretty much back and forth. But at one point, the Chargers was in first. But I think right about now that did change. They might have. Raiders now have, I think, a 1-game lead or the tiebreaker, either or. But Raiders, good win over Seahawks. Rams blew out the 49ers 72-43. Again, the Rams, the 49ers, really, the Rams, even though Dre had a terrible season, I believe Dre will bounce back next season. Right? Dre is somebody that knows how to play, and Dre is known for this though. Dre is known for having an off season, and then he'll come back, next season popping. But the 49ers, once again, you fall into that category with the Vikings. 49ers got a nice little he got a nice little scheme with him too. Like as far as where he like to run, you see he scored 43 points, but he suffered from the same disease the Vikings suffer from, and that's can't stop nobody disease. Niners gave up just about double than what he scored, and therefore he got blown out to the Rams. Dolphins beat the Chiefs 80-42. Don't know what's quite going on with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs' confidence then took a little back seat because he's been losing constantly now, and it seems like the gap is getting bigger and bigger. Only thing I can say to the Chiefs is I don't know what you're doing in the second half of the season different than you was in the first half. It's the second season in a row that you collapsed in the second half of the season. You might need to go back and watch some tape of what you did in the first half of the season in these first 2 years and mimic that. That's all I got though. Giants nearly hung on to this lead against the Cardinals. This would have been a big loss for the Giants if he lost this one. He still got his playoff hopes alive. And at this point, it doesn't matter how many points you win by. Just get the win. That's what matters more than anything. And that he did. He holds on. He goes to week 18. Chargers and Steelers. Oh, this is a big game too. We're not just waiting for the Eagles. Hold on. Y'all got me thinking we just waiting for the Eagles and Commanders. No, not true. The Steelers have 6 losses. Yeah, the Steelers have 6 losses. So you see what I'm saying. Now, of course, I didn't go and see if the Steelers got their tiebreaker over the Jets and Dolphins. I don't know that. But what I do know is if the Steelers lose to the Chargers, he now has 7 losses. That is a must-win for the Steelers. It's not a must-win for the Chargers. It's a must-win for the Chargers for him personally because I know the big game James as well, and he wants to win that division. Especially being there with the Raiders. So we get that. But what I'm saying, we got something that's deeper than that going on. We got the Steelers sitting here with 6 losses. If he loses, he's at 7 losses, and things get real interesting at that point. So now the question becomes is who do the Steelers play week 18? So I guess we won't be advancing tonight because it ain't just the Commanders and Eagles. We waiting for the Steelers and Chargers. That's a major game. Steelers, him too, second half of the season haven't been good to him neither. To find himself in this position, I know he's asking himself, how did he even get here? How did he get here is the question. How did he get here to be at week 17, and if he loses this game, he's in dangerous territory? You got to ask yourself that. But anyway, I got the Chargers winning this over the Steelers. I know it's in Pittsburgh. I know Terrible Towels is out. I know it's going to be brick. I know it's probably going to be snowing. I don't care about that. The Steelers have not been focused the second half of the season. They have not been playing good ball. And the only reason why they even have a playoff spot right now is because first half of the season, they was doing their thing. But this second half, I don't know what happened to Pittsburgh. I know the Chargers have been solid all season, but yeah, I know Chargers on the road, but I'm still going with the Chargers. I'm still going with the Chargers, and therefore I think Steelers are in serious trouble of missing the playoffs. Texans and Jags. That game went down yesterday. Jags, and all the Jags had to do was win, and the division was his. But he didn't get it done. So now the Jags is he eliminated? Yeah, he's eliminated. Yeah, the Jags season is over. Listen, I don't even know how I'm even how I know I don't even know how I'm even in this position. I ain't even gonna hold you. I said it on the chat yesterday. I was ready to just say, well, let's just get ready for next season. I don't know how I don't even know how I got here to be in this position to come down to a final game. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we thankful for opportunity. And I always say, when the playoffs start, they don't even everybody record is 0-0. So, but Texans play good, and we got the job done on the road in Jacksonville. Panthers beat the Falcons 77. I ain't even know the score was like this. I just knew that the Falcons lost. I ain't know he got beat like a piñata. Man. Falcons, I don't know, man. I mean, it's one thing to lose, but it's another thing to lose at this time when you need a win bad for this, and it's a whole nother thing when you lose like this when you can't even afford a loss. So I don't know, man. The Falcons, like I said, he's one of them guys that you look at his record. You know how I say he's the the Falcons activist, my guy. But he's the opposite of what I say about the other guys. You know how I say guys like Snub and the Patriots, you know how I say they better than what their record is? Well, the Falcons is not as good as his record is. He was 10-4, and you heard me say, not impressed, not a believer, false advertisement. He's the opposite. Some guys, I say they better than what they record are, and some guys, they're not better than what their record says they are. He's the opposite in this showing, because how you come into this game, all you have, even if you won, even if you did lose this game, to lose like this is almost like you just quit. It's almost like you quit. It's almost like the team quit on the coach for whatever reason. But this is not a good look if you're a Falcons fan. Fans went home throwing jerseys in the trash, and I don't know. I don't see the Falcons bouncing back from this. I think the Falcons season is over. This game right here put the nail in the coffin, in my opinion. On to week 18. Big game right here, especially depending on what happens in week 17 with the 2 games that's left. First up, we got yours truly, the Texans and Colts. Listen, if I don't win this game, I'm not in. But the flip side is, if I don't win this game, I ain't deserve to be in. That's bottom line. You know what I'm saying? If we don't win this game, we ain't deserve to be in the playoffs. There's no other way to spin it whatsoever. Yesterday, I was in the chat, responding back to the Colts, right? And my thing was, I don't care if you can say whatever you want about me as far as playing. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. I'm not one of them dudes that if you say something about me or whatever, you be like, yo, yo, he weak. Yo, Q is weak or whatever. All right, cool. That's whatever. That's all. That's all. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the game. But it's another thing when you got to be careful what you say because you put things out there. You put things out there and then people can run with it, especially for those that's not in the chat like that. They might catch wind of something and think that, because my issue with the coach was like, the night before, the coach was saying, oh, Texans, you and the Jags got to force win yourself into the playoffs. And even if you were joking, that's one thing, right? But when you say things like that in the chat, you don't know who can actually start believing with that and run with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially for guys that's not in the chat like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't want nobody to ever think I'm doing some shady stuff. So it's like, for me, yeah, it's just a game, but my integrity, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of person that I am. Anything that I'm a part of, I got my integrity involved. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, game or not, or whatever, nah, I'm not going to let you say that about me. You can say what you want as far as on the field stuff, but when you start saying like, oh, you trying to force win yourself and you and the Jags, like, come on, don't say things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, even with me saying that's not cool to say, my thing was I'm mad at myself for even having you in that position to even say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if this division is wrapped up, you ain't in no position to say anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more mad at myself for even allowing you to be able to say something like that. So, that's the thing with that. You know what I mean? But because last season it wasn't nothing. It was the whole division was mute. It was almost like there was nobody else in the division. It was almost like I was in the division with CPU. And all of a sudden, you know, you come back home after doing a couple of months away in the can. You come back, all of a sudden now guys is talking spicy to you. So it's one of them things. But it's fine. But Texas and Colts, we play. The winner win the division. As funny as that sound, you know what I'm saying? Winner wins the division. I got Texans favorite over the Colts by 10. Seahawks at the Commanders. Oh boy. Like I said, for the Commanders, it just didn't get any easier. Before he even gets to this game, like I said, he just got to focus on what's in front of him. And what's in front of the Commanders right now is the Eagles. Before you even get to this point. So we got to see what shake out with that first. But I'm going to tell you this, though. If he lose against the Eagles, I guess it now matters what Seahawks team show up, though, right? Because when I say show up, meaning who does he put out there on the field? Because the Seahawks got nothing to play for. He won the division. He's not going to get the number 1 seed. So he don't even have to play his starters. So I don't even know how that's going to shake out. You know what I'm saying, to be honest. But the Commanders got to take care of business against the Eagles. Because right now, the Commanders control his destiny. He win, he in. You know? So, yeah, and then Naruto, yesterday you said what I said. You said what I said was cap about being in the league for over a decade and not making the playoffs. Let me tell you something, bro. Ain't nothing cap about that. Colts never made the playoffs. There ain't no cap. The one thing about me, y'all should know, I don't sugarcoat nothing and I don't lie about nothing. I'm a straight shooter with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I ain't never get up here and make nothing up. If I said it, how many years? Yo, bro, we've been playing, we over a decade in Madden, bro. I promise you that. You said that's cap. You said when I said I seen the joint, bro. You said, yo, you said playing, and I ain't saying that, I ain't saying that you said I was talking about you. I'm guessing you was saying what I was saying about the coach was cap. But I'm saying ain't nothing cap about that. I'm saying we've been playing, and maybe you didn't realize it, but we've been playing these leagues for over 10 years. 10 years. Because honestly, when we first started doing these leagues, BS was the one doing leagues. I wasn't even doing leagues. BS, on some BS, was the one that put me on to playing in leagues in Madden. I wasn't doing no leagues. Yeah, we've been playing for over 10 years, bro. That's why I said over a decade. You know what I mean? It probably don't seem like it, but now that I said it and you think about it. Madden 16, we had league going on. Exactly. They had leagues. I didn't have no leagues. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've been having leagues now for what? About 7 years now, something like that myself. So, you know, it's been going on for a while. What was I saying? Oh, Seahawks and Commanders, yeah. Commanders got to take their business against the Eagles. You know what I mean? But like I said, I like his chances, man. I like his chances because he's in a division with them. When you're in a division with somebody, you playing them twice a year. You know, even if you get swept the first year, guess what? You play them twice again next year. Even if you're losing, you got to be getting familiar. You know what I mean? Nah, I appreciate it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because look, bro, at the end of the day, I ain't getting paid for this. So ain't no need for me to lie or front about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like this is all just me doing this just because we have fun with it. You know, but this ain't putting no bread in my pocket. So ain't no need for me to get up here and start lying or none of that. You know what I'm saying? Trying to impress nobody in here. I ain't here for none of that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here to impress nobody or nothing. I'm here just to run a league that we all can play. Now, don't get it twisted. I am trying to take the league to a new level. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying send me some clips of games and stuff because I'm trying to get this league popping. I'm talking about like noticed by different people and put this league on a different scale. You know what I'm saying? So I am trying to do that. But as far as, you know, for me, and this is just how I am in real life. With me, what you see with me on this game as a commish, this is how I am in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no, if you think I'm real when it comes to a game, then you have to know that's just my character. I'm not gonna be no fake phony dude in real life and then come to a game and all of a sudden act like, nah, man, this is me. What you see is what you get. You know? And I call a spade a spade. And I don't mind being called out for something if it's warranted. If I did something wrong or if somebody felt like I'm doing something wrong, call me out on it. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about it. Like this ain't no, I give everybody a voice in here. Everybody got a voice. How many times I told commissioners they all can do the fifth quarter. They ain't gotta wait for me. Any commission here can do the fifth quarter. Anybody. And they know I've said that. Like, yo, y'all can get on here and do this. Y'all don't need me to do it. Y'all ain't gotta wait for me. Y'all can get on here and do the same thing I'm doing. Do a recap, do some predictions, talk about the divisions. Boom, there you go. You know what I mean? I ain't holding nobody back. Like this is something that we all just have fun and you know what I mean? Like just bug out with, you know, and compete. Like everybody here likes to compete, you know? Yeah, bro, I hear all of that, but you like the way I do it. Y'all like the way I do it because I'm the only one that do it. But who's to say that if Jeter or Josh did it, they won't like them for doing it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all ain't even get on the ones and twos to even try it out. You know? I even said I even need to bring guests on. Y'all remember when I used to bring guests on with me? When I used to have guests on here with me the fifth quarter, like a little fake ESPN interview type thing. You know what I'm saying? I did that a few times too. We need to get that popping again as well. You know? But yeah, I like the Commanders' chances against the Eagles. I know we in week 18, so I'm going back to the Eagles because that's who the Commanders play. But I like his chances, man. He playing the Eagles twice last year. This will be his fourth time playing them. You know, at this point, what can the Eagles really show him that he ain't see yet? But I got to tell you, it also goes vice versa. What can the Commanders show the Eagles that the Eagles haven't seen yet from the Commanders? So it goes both ways. So it's just a matter of, you know, who can outdo who, at what it is they like to do. Plain and simple. Dolphins and Patriots. Look, if I'm not mistaken, the Patriots beat the Dolphins a few weeks ago. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I feel like I've seen the Patriots kind of handle the Dolphins rather easily too. This is a big game, and if the Dolphins think that the Patriots are gonna come in here and lay down, then he already lost. So the Dolphins gonna have to come in here and do what he do, and he needs help though. That not only do the Dolphins gotta win, he needs the Bills to beat the Jets. No, the Bills is already well. Here's the way I look at it: the Dolphins is out. The Dolphins is out, and why the Dolphins is out? Because the Jets have the tiebreaker over the Dolphins, and the Dolphins have the tiebreaker over the Bills. But guess what? The Bills have 6 losses. The Dolphins are already at 7, which means that if the Bills lose to the Jets have the tiebreaker over the Dolphins. The Jets win the division. If the Bills win, he has 6 losses. The Dolphins can't catch him, even though he got a tiebreaker. So honestly, and that didn't dawn on me till just now. Honestly, the Dolphins season is over. The Bills and Jets, whoever win that game, win the division. Plain and simple. But if you're the Dolphins, you still want to go out winning. Listen, he lost to the Patriots the first time. I like him to get some revenge in the rematch. I'll take the Dolphins over the Pats this time. I'll say 49-42. Cowboys and 49ers. 49ers, look, you out the playoffs, but you got a chance to do something, the biggest thing you did all year. And that's a chance to knock the Cowboys off the division crown. Can you do that? I tell you one thing, if the 49ers win this game, that's a big momentum swing for him going into next season. So these are the type of things, if you're the 49ers, these are the type of things that you have to look at. You can't be down on yourself. Not saying that he is. What I'm saying is that you can't be down on yourself because you're not having a good year. Right now, you got a chance to do something great. And you got a chance to hold on to that and bring that into next season. If you beat the Cowboys, go look at that. Go look at that, whatever you did 5-6 times if you can. And whatever it is that you did in that game, carry that into next season. Because if you win this game, even though your season will be over, trust me, you're going into the off season feeling a whole lot better. Because trust you me, the Cowboys need this game, and he's going to come and he's going to try to wipe you out in the first half. Make no mistake about it. Meaning, if he can have you down 51-7 in the first half and then sit his quarterback in the second half or whoever else, that would be my game plan. Get this game over with as fast as you can. And if you're the 49ers, you get a chance to send Dallas home, to a wild card round in the playoffs. So if you're the Niners, listen, man, if you're listening, come in focus. Because the Cowboys will be, I kid you not. But still in all, I'm taking the Cowboys to win 54-28. Broncos and Bengals. Well. Both of these teams is out, obviously, but I'm really intrigued by this game. Why? I think the Broncos is better than what his record is, and the Bengals just picked up this team 2 weeks ago. He gave the Super Bowl champs all he can handle. He took care of the Patriots last week. So this is a good fill out game for 2 teams that definitely have the capability of making the playoffs, in my opinion, also making some noise. Interesting game right here. I would love to see who comes out on top in this one. But I got to say, I like the swag the Bengals came into this league with. So I'm taking the Bengals in this one over the Broncos. And I could be wrong, but that's just my gut. I'm going to say Bengals 43, Broncos 38. Bills and Jets. This is probably the game of the week, right? I mean, how could it not be? Well, plain and simple, whoever wins this game wins the division. Bills Mafia will be traveling into New York. That fan base travels all around with them, no matter where they go. And weather is not a factor for Buffalo. Because if it snows, if it rains, if it's real cold, it's the same thing in Buffalo, but worse. So Buffalo, the weather is not going to bother them at all. I will say, if it's a bad weather game, in my opinion, the edge goes to the Jets. Why? Because he runs that ball with Brees Hall. And when it's bad weather games, it is hard to pass. Oh yeah, fun fact. 2 seasons in so far, I have yet to play in snow or rain. I have not played in a weather game yet at all. At all. So I don't even know what it's like to play in the weather. I do because I've seen what happened, and I've seen people play, you know, in heavy snowstorms, and it's hard to see targets down the field. But I'm saying, me personally, I haven't experienced it yet. But I do know in bad games, oh, that's crazy. You ain't playing bad weather yet, nothing? Yeah, that is wild. But I do know in bad weather, you got to be able to run that rock. I think the Jets run the ball better than Buffalo, but Buffalo pass better than the Jets. So if there is no weather factor, edge Buffalo. If there is weather factor, edge Jets. I don't know what the weather going to be. So I'm just going to pick it on based on just just good weather. And with that being said, I'm gonna get an edge to Buffalo. Even though right now, at this moment, I like the way the Jets are playing better than Buffalo at this moment. At this exact moment, the Jets are playing better than Buffalo. But I just think Buffalo is gonna pull this out in the last game of the season. But I tell you one thing, if Buffalo loses this game, it's a pretty big collapse. Because I'm telling you, at one point in time, he had like a 5-game lead on the Jets. But I like Calm game. You know what I'm saying? Calm came a long way. I'm not gonna lie. I remember when Calm first joined our league, he wasn't winning like he wins now. He got better fast. Quietly too. Like, you wouldn't even know until you played him, and you'd be like, "Oh, all right, we got a game on our hand." So Calm definitely came a long way, because I'm telling you, I remember when he first came in, he was getting beat a lot. But he now solidified himself as a great user. So shout out to the Bills, man. But right now, the Bills have not been playing good ball. But I'm still going to give the nods to Buffalo, because I just think that Josh Allen is going to do some Josh Allen acts in this one to pull it out. But again, if he don't, there's a big time collapse. But I like the way the Jets playing. I can't lie. The Jets have been in playoff mode the past few weeks of this season. So if the Jets win, I am not going to be surprised. But I just got a gut feeling that Buffalo pulls this out. I could be wrong. It's only one way to find out. But I'm going to give the nod to the Bills. But I got this being close. I'm going to go Buffalo 37, Jets 35. 2-point win, Bills over the Jets. Saints and Panthers, Carolina Blue Mo. Carolina Blue Mo, you got some incentives coming your way, because you just played against the Falcons. You don't get an incentive because you beat them like that. You just get an incentive because you won. You know what I'm saying? Because you definitely winning doesn't help you at all right now, because your season is over. But the fact that you played anyway and you won, we give incentives and shit like that. We like to see that because you got to remember, years ago, people in your position wouldn't even have played the Falcons. They'd have been like, "Yo, give them the force. Our season is over." And that's why we came up with the whole incentive thing because no, you know what I mean? Like if you the Packers, you want to see the Falcons playing. You don't want to see his opponents giving him forced wins because they're eliminated. Nah, play it out. Play it out. So, great win against the Falcons, man. You got some incentives coming. And if this game get played, I'm going with the Panthers over the Saints as well. I got Panthers over the Saints. I'm gonna say 49-20. Giants and Eagles. Let me see something. The Packers play the Vikings. See, here's the issue for the Giants. Packers is not losing to the Vikings. You can book that. And the Giants, even if the Giants beat the Eagles, they need the Packers to lose. Because right now the Packers have the tiebreaker over the Giants. But the Packers is not going to lose to the Vikings. So that's a done deal. So Giants is officially eliminated just off seeing who the Packers got to play. So this game now means nothing for the Giants, but it's still going to mean something for the Eagles to win that division. So I'm sure this game will get played, and I'll go with Eagles in this one. I'll say Eagles 55, Giants 44. 55-44 Eagles. Browns and Steelers. Naruto, you too are up for incentive game because you have nothing to play for. But again, incentive game, give you something to play for. If you beat the Steelers, you get an incentive. Steelers must win this game. He cannot. So you know what? I take it back against the Dolphins season being over. Because if the Steelers lose, he has 7 losses. And unless they played each other and Steelers got the tiebreaker, it's going to come down to who got the better AFC record. And I don't know who that is right now. So how about we go find out? First, let's go look at team schedule. Let's see if they even played each other. First and foremost, did the Steelers play the Dolphins? No, he didn't. All right, so cool. Yeah, you good. You definitely got an incentive. You know what I mean? Incentive game for you. All right, so they didn't play each other. So now we go look at and see who got the better AFC record. In the AFC, the Dolphins is 6-5. Right? He's 6-5. The Steelers is 6-4. You see what I'm saying? But here we are again, though. If the Steelers do lose, they both 6-5, right? Then it goes down to points. Steelers have 730. Dolphins has 7. Oh wow, Dolphins has 741. So here we are. I take it back. What I said about the Dolphins. Now the Dolphins is his opponent AFC? I think it is. Let me see. Yeah, he played the Patriots. So yeah, so they'll both have the same AFC record if the Steelers lose. And if it come down to points, the Dolphins, unless the Steelers score a ton of points, but the Dolphins right now has the lead in points. So right now the Dolphins will be in over the Steelers. Pretty interesting. Steelers got to win. If he lose and Dolphins win, my opinion, Steelers is out. Man, I bet nobody looked at that and knew that coming into this week. Very, very interesting stuff. Yeah, Browns and Steelers, dangerous game right here for the Steelers, man. I'm telling you because this is basically a playoff game for the Steelers. Steelers must win. I gotta take the Steelers just cause, but I'm here for it to see how this one shake out. Give me the Steelers over the Browns. 40, 47-30. Cardinals and Lions, both teams season is over, but it's just about trying to find something going into next season. I like the Lions though. Give me Lions over the Cards. 49-40. Vikings and Packers. Um, Listen, Packers, all he had to do, was sit back. He had the easiest schedule out of him, the Commanders, and the Giants. Packers had the easiest schedule, so all he gotta do is sit back, take advantage, which I know he will. Sit back and see what the Commanders do. That's the only team in front of him right now. But let's find out. Let's find out. How's it gonna shake out? But I got the Packers over the Vikings, man. No need for me to even act like, you know. But like I said, Vikings, he does score. He just can't stop nobody, But he does score. So with that said, I'm going to take Packers in this one, 62, 37. Rams and Chargers. Raiders. Who does the Raiders? Raiders play the Chiefs. Raiders. Uh, Raiders and Chargers both. They got the same record, but the Chargers don't have the tiebreaker over the Raiders. The Raiders have the tiebreaker. So, but these two gotta play their game and see how this one go. I'm going to take. It's a dangerous game, though. I'm not going to lie. The Rams do score. I mean, even though his record is bad, he does score. So the Chargers cannot come into this game slacking. He got to play. Um, I think because though what's on the line, I think he's gonna come in and be locked in. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers, man. Give me the Chargers over the Rams. 51-44. Falcons and Ravens. Yeah, Falcons is out in my opinion. I mean, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? It's a wrap. And not even so much because he played the Ravens, because honestly, I don't see the Ravens playing Lamar. Like, what for? He got the number one seed. Where's there to play Lamar for? So this don't even matter. I just think the Falcons is just done just because the way he just lost last week. Um, so I'm gonna take the Ravens no matter what. So I'll take Ravens. I'll say 41-29. Titans and Jags. Look, a way for the Titans to send a message to the Jags come next season. Um, I guess the question is, did the Jags, is he coming to this game thinking about that loss from last week? He gotta let that loss go, But I don't know. I think personally the loss is still gonna be on his mind. So I got the Titans winning this one. Give me the Titans over the Jags. Uh, 42-35. Raiders and Chiefs. Chiefs fell apart the second half of the season once again. I'm going Raiders in this one. Give me Raiders over the Chiefs. 53-38. Bears and Bucks. Um, I don't think these guys have anything to play for. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Let me see if the number one seed is up for grabs. I didn't even I ain't even checked that out. So I don't want to just start saying that and then I'm saying the wrong thing. Well, the number one seed is up for grabs, period. From not just with the Bucks, but if the Bears lose, I don't know who would get the number one seed, but yeah, that's a big game for the number one seed. No other reason. They're all in the playoffs. But for number one seed, it's a big game right here. Um, this is a tough one to go with. I can't even lie. It's a tough one to go with in this one. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Bucks. I'm gonna go Bucks. They're at home. Why not? So I got the Bucks. I got the Bucks over the Bears by a score of I'm gonna go 44-41. How's that? 44-41. But yeah, that's it, y'all. That's the prediction for the final week of the season. Two big time games left for week 17. You got the Eagles and Commanders. Then you got the Chargers and Steelers. Um, Based on the time, I doubt these games get played tonight. But it is what it is at this point. Only two games left. But these games is crucial right here. These games are going to shake everything up, depending what happens. It's going to get shaken up for division purposes, number one seed purposes, making the playoffs purposes. Um, you name it, it's all there. So being in the playoffs and then dropping out the playoffs, it's a whole lot that can happen over these last two games right here for week 17. So week 18 is pure fireworks for week 18. But that's what it's about. It's about uh, getting up here, talk about everything that's going down in the league, and then we go from there. But happy Turkey Day to everybody. You know, we'll see what happens tomorrow with these games, and I'll see you on the next fifth. Gone.